Mm. Welcome to my Supergirl guitar, man. I was actually kind of excited to get it. So don't laugh, man. Type of thing is collectible. Right now, they're selling on the internet for about $100. And if you have the Superman one with it, these actually are sold by Six Flags. Six Flags, you go to like Great Adventure or Six Flags over wherever you go to Six Flags, you know what I'm saying? And they have like all the contracts with DC Comics, I suppose. Batman the Ride, Superman the Ride. And when they started doing that, they started selling like guitars in their little gift shop. And these are actually kind of sought after now. The early ones, especially, are very pink. They don't have any label in the back. The ones that have been sold, I think, in the past 10 years, say like, you know what I mean, DC Comics, made in China or whatever. There's a company that makes guitars specifically for like, you know what I mean, for like carnivals and for, you know what I mean, firemen's fairs and circuses and whatever it comes to town with rides and stuff. You know what I mean? They always have this kind of headstock. Sometimes the brand says Mahar if it's like, you know what I mean. People used to think because of the name was Mahar that they were made in India. They're all made in China, you know, for the past, you know what I mean, 25 years or whatever. However long these, they all have the same kind of look. You know what I mean? They all sort of have this cheap Stratocaster design. You know what I mean? With no pick guard, just, you know what I mean, electronics on the back. You can see. You know, carry in the back. And, you know, they seem to be, from what I've read on the internet, they seem to be pretty decent instruments. This looks like a decent instrument. So I'm going to take it apart. It's a little rusty. We're to look at it together. And we're going to enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? I can't believe it. I'll keep my eye open for that Superman. I'd like to have a Superman and a Supergirl together. That'd be great. But right now we just got the Supergirl. I bought it for $15 at the flea market. All I paid was $15. The guy said he had a whole bunch of guitars. He's like, this is the last one. The rest I sell for 25 because it's the last one for you, my friend. You take it for 15. I was like, you know what I mean? I was a happy camper because I had my eyes open for one. I always wanted one. Let's look at it together more closely. You know what I'm saying? This is the Six Flags Supergirl guitar. Hey, man, it's an electric instrument. You should be thankful, right? We don't do very many electrics here on the Guitkit show. That's because it's a special treat for you and for me, for all of us. See you on the slab. 1, 2, 3. Look at that, man. It's really like a very well done. You know what I'm saying? Very, very nicely, sort of. A little bit of damage to it. But if I was at Six Flags, you know what I'm saying? I had a couple drinks in me. You know what I'm saying? I had a girl with me who knew how to play guitar. You know what I'm saying? Pal Farrow, see that? That milky, creamy Pal Farrow. All those, you know what I mean, corny sort of guitars have that, made by this mystery maker, have this sort of headstock, man. Tuners, you know what that means. Looks like Samick, doesn't it? Samick usually uses these tuners, but I wouldn't be too quick to say it was Samick. The bottom of some of the newer ones is right here. The sticker says Six Flags. You know, copyright DC Comics. Made in China. Some rust here, some serious rust. Some pitting and corrosion on the pickups and stuff. So we got our work cut out for us. You know what I mean? It's not, you know, when you look closely, it's not in great condition. It's kind of fucked up. Which just makes Guitkit even happier. You know? But when I'm done with this, you know what I'm saying? Superman be getting hard as fucking Man of Steel again, bro. Oh, yes. Let me get my tights on so you can see my pleasures. Right? See you in the laboratory. Clock. Welcome back to the Crystal Ice Palace Laboratory, Superman's home. In case you didn't know. You don't know, and now you know. So listen. We took it over to the amplifier. We did a little tap test on it. It seems to work a little bit. You know what I mean? Like a little bit. When you have it in the right position, kind of heard the right thing we wanted here, and then we quickly lost it. Also notice that the pots just keep going around and around and around, so they're not screwed down very well. There's all kinds of problems here. We took the strings off, and that in itself was a pain in the ass. 2 of the strings were actually like rusted in here. They would not come out. So we had to take a little bit of a paneling nail and a tack hammer and just smack it out from the front, you know what I mean, to get it out of there. So we had to take this off to get them out. It's been like a, you know what I mean, it's definitely got some corrosion to it. It's definitely got some problems. It's got some issues there, Charles. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take off this, just see what's going on underneath this. We see that there's a delineated, you know what I'm saying, dirt pattern here, so you can see where it's faded. You can see the original pink, hot pink of it. But let's see what's going on inside here. I want to know what's going on. Let's get this up to 1,000% before we move any further. All right. So we had a little miscellaneous wire floating around there. I think this is the ground wire that went from here to here. And this looks like the ground wire that went from here to here. That's the only thing I can think of. Looks pretty much, you know, cheap dime store pots, cheap switch. You know what I'm saying? So what we're going to want to do is just take this guy, take a look here, take all these knobs and switch tips off and just sort of, you know what I mean, try to get them not moving around anymore. Take a good look at this, do any soldering that we think needs to be done, and then take it over the amplifier again for a secondary tap test. So I'll see you once I think I have it all soldered up correctly. Right? I'll see you in a moment. All right, so the first thing we did, we pulled all the knobs off, like I said we're going to do. Then we tighten these guys up, right? Those nuts are going to take a number 10 metric, a 10 metric wrench, number 10. So we tighten it up. We put our finger behind the pot, pushed on it a little bit so they didn't spin any additional wires out of whack, right? Now that that was stabilized, we resoldered this guy, him, to here. See how we put him right next to the other guy, and then we put him exactly where you've been. Looks like it should be okay now. I don't see anything else disconnected. I got some CRC electronic cleaner. We're going to spray it carefully inside of each one of these pots. Turn them around, you know what I mean, while we're doing it, you know. Go all the way up, open the pot, close it, open the pot, close it, and then we're going to do the same thing on the switch. Just clean them out of all that shit. Lots of shit in there. And then we're going to let it dry and bring it over to the amplifier, do a little bit of a tap test, see if it sounds like it works. And that's the next time I'm going to see you. That's the next juncture. All right? See you there. All right, so we took it over the amplifier. We did the tap test. It's all beautiful now. It's all beautiful. You know what I mean? We can go any way on the pots. There's no crackling. Both tone pots work. The switch works every position. All the pickups work. So the electronics are 100%. So right now, with that in mind, we're going to want to close up this cavity so we don't fuck it up. At any point, this is really dirty. So we're going to want to take some fake Windex, clean off this, and very lightly around the surrounding areas. You can see some dirt build up. Not go crazy, you know what I mean? On the rag, you want to spray it into the cavity. Clean this off, and let's put those screws in. I've kept the screws all in order that they went in there in the right holes, so we don't have any cross, you know what I mean? Cross-threading issues. So let's get that closed up. I'll see you there. Alright, so we're all sealed up, hopefully forever. I don't want to ever have to open that again. So now let's take a look at this. It's all rusted out, man. See, it's all rusty. It's kind of nasty rusty. I got a piece of steel wool here that I believe has a little bit of Earl on it. Or mineral oil, I believe. I just want to get in there and get out the most of that. You know what I'm saying? Not all of it, but the most. I mean, and I'll see you because we got other little rust spots that we got to sort of tend to. I'll see you when we're coming out of there with my prognosis aisle. Alright, so the oiled steel wool made quick work of that oxidization down there. All we got to do is wipe it off with a clean cloth. I'll show you. It's going to look splendid. Splendiferous. 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 That's fantastic, Kyle. So now we have these pockets of rust here. Where we're going to do two different things. We're going to put a little piece of tape down here. So this is like some kind of a wrap. It's not like they do with nails, kind of. I don't want to mess this up. I don't even know exactly what it is. It's like a big water slide kind of a thing. But it seems to be very, very thin. It's starting to flake up in places, so I don't want to fuck with it. So what I want to do is put a piece of tape down here very gingerly on this area here and just work this guy in there just a little tiny bit. Little tiny bit. We're going to put like a little tiny bit of oil on him too to just make things along smoothly. And then we'll do these guys up with the steel wool and oil. A little piece of tape on the sides. Okay? I'll see you when that's all cleansed and savored. Alright, so we got the rust problem remediated. I mean, on the pickups, we got these little pieces of tape on there to keep it all clean and nice. And then we just got to wipe up the oil, get the oil on there to make things a little bit easier and everything. So we're going to wipe up that oil and we're going to clean this guy. It's real dirty. You know what I'm saying? You can just see dirt everywhere. Dirt everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's a mess. So we're going to clean it with some phony Windex, just applied with a cloth. I don't want to mess up this overlay, even though we could probably withstand some furniture polish. Like that's not something that's a risk I'm not willing to take. You know, we're not going to touch the, you know what I mean, neck at all. We'll do that with furniture polish once we're done with the body. Let's do that body. Let's clean it up right now. Right now. Freedom earned it. All right, so we got it cleaned up. That's pretty much just being clean. There's no kind of like super solvent on there. It's just pretty much Windex. And Windex is essentially vinegar, folks. Super secrets of the world. It's already looking a little bit darker now that it's sort of like been cleaned, right? It's looking a little bit bolder, right? Cool. And I like the back too. I was able to get that pretty nice. And a little bit of a magic erase sponge too helps. You know what I'm saying? Getting the grime, especially on the side. This thing looks like it was like a cabana hanger or wall hanger or something like that. It's just got damage where it seems to be like, it wasn't like played. There's a lot of damage to the back where it's like, you know what I mean, like against the wall or something like that. Room decoration. So let's worry about this now. Let's worry about the neck. It doesn't look like I said, too much play wear. There is some like dents here, but it's like really rust from those strings, like just rusting on there. So I'm gonna apply this furniture polish front, back, here, back to the neck, just to get it clean. And I'll see you then. When? Then. All right, so we got in there with the furniture polish and actually put it on there twice on the front because it just ate that up. This is Pau Ferro. Pau Ferro is very yellow and it doesn't really get too dark. And when it gets dark, it gets light again real quick. Pau Ferro, cheap rosewood. So essentially, what we're gonna have to do now is because it's very coarse. It's not very smooth. It's not inviting for the hand. It's very dry. The back is nice though. It's ready to go. But we gotta worry about this. So I got some mineral oil here. We're gonna take a little bit of steel wool and just work it into here. Try to smooth it out. Just clean off, you know what I mean, all the shit that's still remaining on the fretboard, wherever it came from. You know what I mean? This has definitely been a display piece, you know what I mean, somewhere sitting static and getting banged around a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't think it was any kind of performance going on in this fucking instrument. Let's get it all greased up. I'll see it done. We're not going to do the frets. They all feel pretty nice. Right? And they rang pretty true on those 3 or 4 strings that were left. So I'll see you in a moment. Alright, so we got it all greased up. Smeared real good in there. Cleaned up all those frets real nice. Shine them up all pretty. By the time I got down here, this is already dry. You know, so let's put a little bit more on. You can see in the middle starting to dry out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to let this set till it dries. Wipe it off, all the other excess shit. I'll see you then. At that moment. That point in time. Right? That's the point we'll be talking next. So it's the next day, actually. Nice and dark now, right? We wiped it off. Usually when you wipe it off, you'll see something like that. Isn't that gross, man? Wipe it off. Let it dry. Now it's nice and dark. It'll stay dark for a little while as is. But let's try to keep seal in the dark. So we're going to put some paste wax over here. Some of that Minwax paste wax. And we're going to coat the body with some moms, man. Just a nice shiny body. Right? Some waxes. Let's do that now. And I'll see you then. Now it's all waxed up. Waxed up to a shine. Yeah. I like that. I like it too. We use this paste wax on the neck, every part of the neck, the front, you know what I mean, the back, headstock. Okay? That's all this. The body, we did all mom's. Mom's cleaner wax, man. From Brazil. Right? We got the whole thing. It's a very hard, like, shiny wax. You know what I mean? It does a great job. So let's put these little, you know what I mean? Let's put these little things back where they belonged. Right? We got them all turned this way. Just put them on upside down. Right? See you in a minute. There we go, man. So all the way turned, you know what I mean? It should be like that. That's the way I like to do it. You can do it any way you like it, though, man. So look at this action, man. Look at the way that's set up. Just like one of the only sort of like clues of human habitation of this guitar. You know what I mean? It's got the little E string all the way down. I don't know what's going on with that, really, honestly. You know what I mean? This is another sort of clue of habitation. You know what I mean? Like it's a little bit worn there. Wouldn't that be worn there if somebody was playing at one point? They're the only clues, though. I mean, there's no play wear at all on the instrument. You know what I'm saying? I don't see any form of any kind of, play wear. It's just weird. There's no, like, scratches from any kind of errant picks. There's no pick guard on it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's happening, man. But let's, you know what I mean, take one of these little guys and just sort of straighten this out. You know what I mean? Not straighten it out. I mean, it looks like they're in the right place. It just looks like there's possibly, you know what I mean, height problem. We can always fix that door and, you know what I mean, set up. Let's get it pretty much the way we want to see it. All right. That's the way I like to see it. Hopefully we can get it that way without having to adjust the truss rod or adjust those. But we might have to do a little bit of tweaking, and that's okay, man. This neck actually feels okay. It doesn't feel like there's any kind of bend to it or, four bow, back bow. It seems like it's, you know what I mean? Like, all right, man. Look how clean that is, man. It looks really nice. Looks so nice. So, always take care of your Allen keys. Put them in a drawer. I used to keep one or two different, you know what I mean, needed sizes at every workstation, and I ended up, like, losing them all. Walking off with them. Put them in a drawer, people. So, let's talk about stringing it up, man. Got a set of Orpheus, man. These are my favorite ones, man. They always sort of, you know, when they come through, they're really light gauge. They don't do any damage to the instrument. You know what I'm saying? I like light gauge strings, sort of demonstrating instrument. You know what I mean? I'm not, like I said, man, I'm not Jimi Hendrix, man. I'm not sitting around all day long on brown acid, man. Fucking, you know what I mean? Worrying about my navel, man. I'm fucking playing this for you once or twice. If I might mess up once, you know what I mean? I'll have to do it a second time. You know what I'm saying? And I'll never play it again. So these strings are good enough. Just so you know, that's what I use. Peace be with you. I'll see you when we're all strung up. We still have a couple of little things to do, man. You know what I mean? I ain't talking about glamour shots right yet. Alright, so we got the strings on. One thing I noticed, though, is these two holes are blocked also by those ball ends. So I think what happened is somebody got this guitar. You know what I'm saying? Man, woman, trans. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? And played it until like two strings broke. Or maybe just one string broke. Like, oh shit. I can't replace the strings on this thing. You know what I mean? Because it was stuck in there. The wads in there. I took the little nail and I put the hammer in there. But I mean, nobody would think about that if they didn't really know the trick. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Nobody would think about that. So I noticed when I was getting this guy all kind of set up here, he's missing a position marker there. See that one? Empty. So I'm going to take this old wax candle here, taking the bottom of it where it's still white. I'm just going to fill it in there. I'll see you in a second. I'll see you in a second. Circumstances? What other circumstances? You see that? A white crayon or a white, furniture filler, even a white grease marker would do the same trick. I'm shining a light on it. Nobody will ever, you know what I mean? Hey, let's stick a light a candle. Happy birthday. This thing's real dirty. Let's clean it off with some phony Windex, right? And let's, you know what I mean? Let's get that guy all on there, man, right? And we're gonna cut the hair, right? And I'll see on the glamour shot moments. You know what I'm saying? We're ready. Are you ready? 1, 2. Anybody can be a hero. Anybody can be a villain. Do you see that? Do you feel your powers weakening, Superman? I know you do, because this is from your planet of Krypton. It will suck up all your power until you're just a weak, ordinary baby. pussy. Right? See that, man? I actually got this. My grandfather, he was like a bottle hunter. He used to go to these ghost towns in the Pine Barrens in New Jersey with his brothers. You know what I mean? He used to find old bottle works and like try to find old bottles out there. And this time around, he actually found like the bottle works. He found all this like, bottle slag glass. I remember he passed right before I was born, actually. When I was like 3 or 4 years old, I was up in my grandmother's attic and I saw this. I was my red towel tied around my, you know what I mean, my neck, and I have my little Superman shirt on, you know what I mean. I must have that kryptonite, you know what I mean. But I had a passing sort of Superman, like, the fetish as a kid. My cousin, my little cousin, he was like, he thought he was like the Man of Steel. He was literally, until he was like maybe 10 years old, you know what I'm saying? He was like serious about it. And then when he was in costume and you questioned him, he'd get all crazy with you, and he would, even his own mother, he'd be like, I am Superman, the Man of Steel. Who's this you speak of? He's not I, you know what I mean? And I remember my brother and I, we were having like my aunt over, and she was over there. And he was over there, and we had Chinese food, right? And I remember like he was like sitting on this little red chair. My brother and I got all these like ropes and like belt sashes from like robes and stuff. We tied him to this little chair, and we put this on his lap. And we're like, "You're done, Superman!" And he couldn't get out, and he's like, the chair fell over, and we're all laughing at him. Ha 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 ha! My aunt came in the room like, "What are you doing?" We're like, "Oh, he said he couldn't get out." Lucky thing this thing breaks, you know what I mean? It's kind of fragile. He's like wreathing on the floor, like crawling around the chair. Sorry, man. He was like, he worked for the Air Force 20 years and he hurt his back. And he's like, you know what I mean, 6 years younger than me, and he's retired. He doesn't have to work again for life. Government got that one, man. So here it is, man. That's the villain of the heroes tip, right? Looks beautiful. We got that rosewood nice and dark. So I'll give you another tale, man, of Superman. Whoa and wonder, man. I went to my dentist one day, right? It was like Halloween, I believe. It was on Halloween. My dentist is usually like this woman from Trinidad, you know what I mean? I couldn't understand what the fuck she's talking about. You want the top of I really nothing like, you know what I mean, to be a nasty jerk off, but I mean, she's like, and your tooth is off. I didn't really know what she was saying, you know what I mean? Don't you understand what's about? What is this lady talking about? You know what I mean? Because they got like low, she might have been like the vice president of Trinidad at one point, but I mean, I couldn't understand what else she was saying. They always had, and she was the best of the lot, you know. They always had like, you know what I mean, dentists that were like a little questionable over there, you know. And I come in one day, it was Halloween, everybody's dressed up like, you know what I mean. Most of the girls are all dressed up like whores, or maybe they weren't even dressed up. You know what I'm saying? And I always had problems. Every time I went there, it was like a problem, you know. And this guy comes in dressed like Superman, like a good-looking guy, you know. You know, he said, yes, hello, I'm going to give you your exam, you know what I mean? Personally, I'm going to wash your teeth too, you know. He seemed like a really good guy. I was like, yeah, like a young guy. I was like, here we go, man. I got a good dentist finally. You know what I'm saying? And there was like a little old lady next to me, you know what I'm saying? That I guess was waiting for him too. And he went over there and he's like, oh, I'm going to get that little spiel, you know what I mean? And he was like, yeah, I'm going to wash your teeth myself, you know what I mean? And he came back over to me. He said, that fucking dumb cunt, stupid old bitch. I was like, fucking punching her mouth. Fucking end her misery. Hate fucking old people, you know what I mean? They should be euthanized. I was like, oh my God. You know what I mean? This is, like, I was shocked, you know what I mean? You got 3 cavities, buddy. I don't even want to fight with you guys. Like, help someone, please. I'm at your mercy. I never saw him again. Next time I went there, your teeth are very dirty, my friend. You know, you should wash your teeth better. Stop drinking coffee. I understand you now. So that's heroes and villains. Sometimes villains can be heroes and heroes can be villains, right? You get it? Let's hear it, man. Right? Wouldn't that be super? Yeah, Superman. Supergirl. That's it, man. The 6 Flags Supergirl guitar Stratocaster. This thing is a fucking beast, bro. I can't believe I'm even saying that. How am I saying that? It's a killer Stratocaster. It really is. I love, first of all, Stratocasters that have closed fronts. No pickguard on the front, you know what I mean? With the access panel on the back. I just love it. I think they're sturdier, and I think they have that strat bite a little bit. You know. Listen to this fucking thing. This is in position 1. That's gorgeous. Position 2, right? Position 3. Position 4. It's nice, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful Stratocaster. Everything works on it. Position 5. It's a bridge sound. So I was originally thinking, I'll play Donovan, you know, Sunshine Superman, and I was like, man, Donovan's not really, you know what I mean? Doesn't really go with this cheesy, like, late 90s guitar, you know what I'm saying? Donovan's more, although Donovan probably, oh, I love the color. I love the way it looks and the way it sounds. I do like it, you know what I mean? But I remember, I'm going to tell you, a little bit after my time, you know what I mean? When I was already after like 23 or something like that, around about the turn of the millennia, there's some pretty shitty bands out there, man. That's the age of like Stinkin' Park, man. I'm not saying I hate Linkin Park, but I mean, as far as talent goes, I mean, really, a lot of those bands in that era, post-Kurt, you know what I mean, were pretty fucking terrible, man. Not until like Pop came back in like, you know what I mean, the mid-2000s, and like put like rock to shame, you know what I mean, rock to bed for good, man. Computers take everything. It's the cable, folks. It's not the guitar. So anyway, there's a band that came out, and it was just one of the worst songs ever. And it was on every radio station. It was huge, and it was just a horrible, horrible, horrible song. And they were telling everybody I knew, was like, did you hear that song? Isn't that a horrible song? Look at the lyrics. People are like, yeah, man, that's, leave me alone, man. I don't want to think about it. But even now, I play the last verse of the last chorus. If I go crazy, they'll used to call me Superman. If I'm alive, then will you still be there? Holding my hand, I keep around with my superhuman mind. Now you look crazy, but you still call me Superman. If I'm alive, well, you still be holding my hand. I keep alive with my superhuman mind. Three doors down, and hey man, wash your hands, or maybe don't wash your hands, bro. It is, man, what it is. A beautiful instrument, a lovely, lovely Stratocaster. I highly recommend if you see it cheap, pick it up, man. We'll try to get the boys model now, the Superman one. Hey man, alive where you still be, with my arms wide open. That was terrible. Remember that? Oh my God. Holy shit.